What is cadence and why its validation is important? Understanding video cadence, or pull-down, in the broadcast industry can be challenging. Even those who are familiar with film production may face issues, like incorrectly paired interlaced fields due to editing errors. In this podcast, we will explain what cadence, or pull-down, is along with its practical application, and different pull-down patterns. What is cadence? Cadence is a technique to convert low frame rate video content into a high frame rate video through the systematic repetition of specific frames or fields in a predetermined sequence. This process is designed to synchronize the slower frame rate content with the faster frame rate system, ensuring a seamless and cohesive visual experience. Also known as pull-down, this technique converts the frame rate of film content to different frame rates required by broadcast and other platforms. For example, in countries where a vertical scanning frequency of 59.94 Hz is employed, videos are broadcast at 29.97 frames per second. On the other hand, in countries that adhere to PAL or SECAM video standards, the broadcasted video operates at 25 frames per second. Different cadence, pull-down, patterns. Different cadence patterns, also known as pull-down methods, are used to adjust frame rates. Here are some cadence patterns explained. The first one is 3:2 pull-down. The 3:2 method is used to convert the slower frame rate of 24 frames per second of film to the faster refresh rate of a 59.94 Hz television. Initially, original 24 Hz film is slowed to 23.98 Hz, and then a cadence pattern is applied to it. For each film frame, intermediate interlaced fields are created. Here 3 and 2 fields are generated from each source frame in a consistent, alternating 3:2 pattern. This technique is also referred to as telesynchy. The second one is 2:3:3:3 pull-down. This cadence is utilized when converting film content originally shot at 25 frames per second to a broadcast format with a frame rate of 29.97 frames per second. When this cadence is applied to 25 progressive segmented frames content, it results in the creation of 60 iframes. To achieve 59.94 I, there are two potential methods. The first approach is employing an off-speeding process from 60 I to 59.94 I or intermittently dropping a field to facilitate the transition from 60 I to 59 I. In the second approach, the ideal adjustment involves changing one of the 3's in the sequence to a 2, transforming the sequence into 2:2:2:2:3. This adjustment occurs approximately once every 16 seconds, and the last one is 4:1 pull-down. This method is also used to convert the slower frame rate of 24 frames per second for film content to a faster refresh rate of a 59.94 Hz television. In this method, for every 4 frames, 1 frame is repeated. How QC applications can help. There are several different QC requirements for cadence validation, and the following are some of the major use cases. Content needs to be at a native frame rate. Most of the OTT service providers need the content in its native frame rate. It means that no pull-down must be applied to the content that is delivered to them. Content providers need to ensure that no pull-down is applied throughout the content. Determining the pull-down pattern. You may need to determine the pull-down pattern applied in the content for using a proper frame conversion approach if that is needed for certain regions or applications. Broken cadence. In addition to determining the pull-down pattern, you may need to ensure that it is not broken throughout the duration of content. Broken cadence typically occurs as a consequence of poor video editing practices. Broken cadence means the continuity of the pull-down pattern is not maintained. Example: if the source content contains a cadence sequence, such as 2:3, and the content is edited without due consideration for the cadence sequence may be disrupted. And the pull-down pattern changes during the course of the content. Validating the above manually is very difficult and tedious. Attempting to do this manually increases the risk of delivering faulty content, while increasing the time and cost overhead in performing frame-by-frame validation of the entire video content. Automated QC application plays a vital role in the accurate validation of cadence patterns in an automated manner. Our QC products Pulsar and Quasar can report the cadence pattern present in the file with their locations. They can also validate the cadence pattern in the given file. If the user selected cadence pattern is not present in the file, you will get an alert. Users can also ensure that mixed cadence patterns are not present in their files. You can configure the cadence validation according to your requirements, and any violations will be reported in a QC report. Cadence or pull down is all about ensuring your movie looks good no matter where or how it's played. With the help of Pulsar and Quasar, you can ensure the cadence process is executed flawlessly, keeping the video experience smooth and enjoyable. Thank you, listeners, for listening to our podcast. For more details, visit our website to find extra resources and information.